to an episode of Stace and Barry in the morning. Call blimey. It's an episode because I didn't make any notes this time because I'm living it fast and loose, like some sort of podcasting bandito and or something. So I don't know what. I think it's season 4, but I don't know what episode this is. But it's Stace and Barry in the morning. It's going to be good. I'm Stace. That's Barry.
Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim chiroo. A sweet is as lucky as you. Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim chiree. The sweet is as lucky as me. Come on, missus, you know the words. Do, do, do. I don't. Do, 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 do. And then into a medley of half a sixpence is half a romance. That was the medley from my upcoming show, Rum Tum Tucker.
Okay. You did hear the part where I said that this was going to be good, right?
It is good. One-man show, Rum Tum Tucker. Broadway, bitches.
Broadway? I love it. I love the brass bollocks on you, B.
That's
but
right.
You just like, Broadway, yes.
I'm calling it, it's basically like, what if you took Hamilton and it was just one dude, and that dude was me, and I was just smashing the shit out of Hamilton.
I still haven't seen Hamilton. Should I?
It's good.
Is it worth it?
It is worth it. I loved it.
Fair play.
And I don't even really like going to the theatre, but yeah.
Fair play.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking take control of this shit, right? And I'm gonna say, let's do a segment straight away because we've both got a lot of things to talk about because it's been more than a fortnight since we did this because we're both terrible. We both lack health.
Yes, I was going to say we're terrible for like reasons of like sickness and health. So, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So we've got a lot of stuff to talk about. So here's the trumpet. Should we do a pick of the fortnight?
Do it.
Do you want to do it as like a sandwich? Because I was going to have 2, so it could be like Stace bread either side of a Barry filling.
Yes, perhaps without that analogy.
Okay.
Maybe we'll just ignore that analogy and we'll just move on to your... Why don't you give us your first pick, Stace? Let's just do that.
You've got the power of editing, just letting you know, B, that things like that don't have to stay in.
Yeah, that will, because it's comedy gold.
I'm going to start with the one that's going to take me a bit longer to explain, and I am going to spoil the shit out of it, but it's from 2005. Okay. But I need to spoil it, because otherwise you won't understand why it hurt me so much and why I can't stop thinking about it. It's like one of the best episodes of television ever. So the Rise of the TMNT movie has got me back into like full-blown Turtles brain rot times. So I decided, in my infinite wisdom, to go and watch the 2003 Turtles cartoon because it is the only Turtles TV show thing that what I haven't seen before.
Okay.
Because it came out at that perfect period that was like when I was thinking that I was too old for cartoons and comics and that now, and I should be a grown up and whatever. But just before I circled right back round into, no, I'm an adult, I'll watch whatever the fuck I like.
Damn right.
So I started watching that, and it is genuinely very good. It's got one of the worst theme tunes I've ever heard in my life. But there is an episode in season 3. It's episode 21. It's called Same As I Never Was. And you know how I'm a big Donnie fangirl, right? You know, I love him. He's my favourite. He's my baby, and I love him. Well, this episode... Okay, so a bit of setup. A couple of episodes before this, 2 of the Turtles... villains like merge together, so there's like this weird magic dragon thing and this weird magic guy merge together to become the ultimate Draco, which is like this nightmare dragon man thing, and then they steal Lord Simultaneous's time scepter and they attack the Turtles and they wang them all into like alternate dimensions / futures. And so there's like 4 episodes, and it's like each brother, they're a little adventure that they go on before they get back to their own time. Right. And so Mikey's episode, he gets thrown to a alternate dimension where all of the turtles are superheroes, and he has a fucking whale of a time superheroing around because he loves comics and he's just having the time of his life. And then Raph gets sent to a planet where he just has to do a load of motorcycle races, which, again, time of his life, because 03 Raph, he loves a good motorbike, he does, and he's just biking around loving life. Leo gets sent to Miyamoto Usagi's world and has to just like ninja around a bit, which again, like that's '03 Leo's bread and butter, ninjaing around. Loves it. So he's having the time of his life, right? Donnie. Donnie gets sent to an alternate future where he has been missing for 30 years, just disappeared without a trace. And because of that, his whole family just fucking fell apart. Turns out Donnie was the glue. Donnie was the glue that held the Hamatos together. So his disappearance has caused the Shredder to not get beaten by the other turtles because they were just like at a fucking loss without D. So the Shredder has taken over the entire world and is on the cusp of taking over other planets. There's fucking like labour camps and like concentration camps and people just getting mowed down in the street by like police squads who are just patrolling around. It's awful. Horrible dystopian future. So D finds Mikey, who's got an arm off, by the way. He's missing an arm. Mikey's got an arm off. I couldn't cope already. I was actually crying. So Mikey explains, guess what? Dad's dead. So Splinter's dead. Casey's dead. April is trying to lead a resistance against the Shredder, but it's not really working because Raph and Leo have both just fucked off entirely because they're like, I cannot be around the rest of my family. I hate this. So it's just so like Donnie turns up in a land where everything's gone to shit specifically because of him. So he's like, right, I'm going to fix this. I'm going to come up with a plan. Comes up with a plan, gets Raph and Leo on board, goes to the Shredder. And, like, yes, he does do a murder on the Shredder, but not before a footbot kills Mikey, and then Karai kills Leo, who's blind, by the way. And then Karai also kills Raph, who's missing an eye, by the way. And Raph literally crawls over as he's dying into the body of Leo to, like, drape himself across him and be like, I'm so sorry, bro. I really fucked shit up, didn't I? Dead. So then Donnie's like, oh, crap. Like, all of my brothers are dead. What am I going to do in my life? And just as he's sort of apologising to future April, who absolutely wasted Karai with a rocket launcher, by the way, which was brilliant, just as he's sort of been like, I can't believe everything went to shit because of me, he gets pulled back to his normal time. So April's just left standing there like, the fuck, lads? And I've never seen an episode of TV that's made me cry more in my entire life, I don't think, because, like, Mikey having an arm off, everybody's sad. Donnie's like 15 trying to deal with the fact that all of his brothers sort of resent him because they think he just disappeared for a laugh. like the guy who wrote this, Michael Ryan, needs a slap and also a hug because it's an amazing episode of TV. But it's like, absolutely, Donnie's got PTSD now, I'm sure of it. I couldn't cope.
This came out when? Did you say 93?
2005, this episode
2005.
came.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was like, I was not anticipating this level, especially because all the other episodes were just like, oh, I'm having a laugh with some superheroes or I'm on a bike. And then Donnie's is just like, everything's shit and it's your fault. And now your brothers are dead and it's also your fault. It's just like, my heart can't take it. But it's really good. The way I've described it just makes it sound relentlessly sad, which it is, but it's really good. So I was just like, I haven't stopped thinking about it for like 2 weeks.
Well, I'm gonna see if I can get hold of it and have a look at it because I quite like the sound of everything you just said. And even though I know now everything that happened, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's like the Last Ronin, but even fucking sadder somehow.
Yes, that's all the way through. I was like, this feels like the Last Ronin. So,
if there's one thing I never want to think about, it's a grizzled 40-year-old Mikey with no spark in his eyes and no sense of fun, just pointing at Splinter's grave and being like, "That's your fault, that is, Donnie."
That grave, that's your fault, Daddy.
That is specifically where did you go? Donnie's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Sort your shit out. That's your fault.
Oh wow, what a time that episode was. But that's my pick of the fortnight.
Okay, well, my pick of the fortnight, probably equally bleak if I read you the blurb. So this is after being abducted by a child killer and locked in a soundproof basement. Yeah, even the opening just sounds dark. A 13-year-old boy starts receiving calls on a disconnected phone from the killer's previous victims.
Okay, I think I know what this is.
So yeah, this is a film called The Black Phone.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
Have you seen it?
I have, yeah.
Oh, it is so good. It is
So
so good. And the thing is, even though like the premise is pretty damn dark, it feels like you're watching a kind of 80s. I think it is set in the 80s or 70s anyway. It feels like you're watching that kind of Stranger Things vibe, except a bit more gritty.
Yeah, it's almost got like a sort of adventure movie kind of vibe, but then it's also terrifying.
yeah. It's kind of like if someone was like, I kind of want to do the Goonies, but what if like most of the Goonies were dead and there was only one left and the other Goonies could still talk to him? Do you know what I mean? It's like
what if the Goonies, but real fucked up?
Yeah, and I always feel that someone might have pitched that back in the day with the Goonies. Like, how about we just leave the Goonies alive and make it a little bit more lighthearted and fun for kids? Yeah, go on then. And he just kept that script somewhere dusty and then brought it out. But no, this and I forgot who plays the serial killer. Is it Ethan Hawke?
Ethan Hawke, yeah.
Yeah, and he just has one of the scariest masks I've seen in the film.
It's awful, isn't it?
It is properly awful. But no, given like I said, given the fact the premise is quite dark, or whatever, you can't. By the end of the film, you end up like fist bumping the sky.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the kid who gets kidnapped. What's quite cool is obviously he's got weird stuff going on, but his sister has equally weird stuff going on. Yeah. And I would have killed to have been friends with a kid like his sister.
Yeah. It's got a very, I was going to say Stephen Kingy vibe, but I'm pretty sure it was written by his son.
Oh, okay. It's got kind of Stephen King and with a large dose of like John Carpenter.
Yeah.
But yeah. Black Phone, loved it. Watch it. I think we rented it. I don't think it was on a streaming. I think we rented it. But yeah, worth the rental charge, people. Get it.
Excellent. I can be super fast about my second one because I don't want to even hint at a spoiler for this. If you are able to do so in your area, watch Barbarian because it is very, very good.
Barbarian.
There you go. Barbarian. Yes, it's a movie. That's all I'm telling you because it doesn't do what you think it's gonna. I watched it not knowing anything about it, and it doesn't do at all what you're thinking it's gonna do from the opening, and then it just gets more brilliant as it goes.
Is it a streaming jobby?
I think so, but I can't remember what. We've got so many.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
As long as I know it might be streaming, then I can do a search for it afterwards.
I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah.
Can you tell me what genre it is, or would that give it away?
No, I can tell you the genre because it sets itself up as this anyway, but you think it's going to be a different version of this, but it's a horror. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think there's any spiders in it. just doing a quick brain spider check. I don't think there are. But yeah, so yeah, Barbarian, give that a whirl.
Cool. That's okay. I've had to use my kind of spider beard. I don't know what that means, but she basically like anytime something about to happen like that, she's like, don't look. So
yeah, that's what Rich does when we're watching things as well. He's like, there's a spider on the screen. I'm like, not looking at it.
Smoke bomb. I'm God.
Right, here's another trumpet. Musical Musings. Yeah.
Awesome.
I'll let you go first.
Okie doke. So my musical musing is taken from the Disney Plus show, which is currently doing the rounds, which you might have heard of, which is called Andor.
I have heard of it, yeah.
Yeah. And this piece of music, which actually, I think I might have mentioned it, but I can't remember if I mentioned it as an actual musical musing or if I just mentioned it to you whilst I was talking about Andor. But this is actually taken from the end of, have you been watching Andor?
Sort of.
Okay. We'll talk about
I'm not up to date.
Okay. Well, this is taken from the end of episode 3.
Okay. I have seen that.
And I remembered when I got to the end of it and I thought that piece of music, I mean, the scene itself was great, but the piece of music it just killed it. Just killed it, as in like, that is a prime example of what happens when you've got a good score and you've obviously got a good cinematography and stuff. And I've been waiting for it to hit Spotify So it's called Past Present Suite, and it's by Nicholas Britell. And it kind of uses elements of the main theme, and it's one of them tracks that just keeps building and building. It's really heavy on the violins, which I'm always here for days. And it's one of those tracks where it just sounds like a piece of classical music. You don't, because there's certain bits of themes and stuff. When you hear it, you kind of know, oh yeah, that's Superman. Oh yeah, that's Star Wars. Regardless of whether it's a main theme or not, you kind of know. Whereas this one, you could just stick it on, and you'd be like, it's just a piece of classical music. And it's
nice,
brilliant. Boom.
Excellent.
Mic drop.
Do you see how I left a little gap between that?
I did.
That and that cough, so that you can edit that out neatly.
Loving your work.
So my musical musing is a bit of music from a recent episode of Rick and Morty. Season, I want to say 6 is the one that we're currently on. Is on a hiatus at the moment. But there was an episode in late September called Night Family. And it was a horror episode, that sort of baffled me that they didn't save it for closer to Halloween. But what do I know about scheduling? And I won't tell you the thing of the episode, because that would ruin it for people, and it is fairly new. I think it's the best episode of this season so far, but I don't know if that's saying an awful lot. But anyway, the soundtrack to that episode though is brilliant, because it is a horror episode that very heavily pulls on sort of John Carpenter-y type stuff, Cronenberg-y type stuff. And so Ryan Elder, who does the music for Rick and Morty, made a very John Carpenter-esque sort of heavy synthy, spooky soundtrack for it. So the piece of music is called Night Family, and it's just so it's still recognisably Ryan Elder, but it's very derivative of Carpenter, and it's just brilliant. So, the whole time I was watching the episode, and I was like, this episode is a whole extra star better because of this soundtrack.
Okay.
It's very, very good. So yeah, if you're a John Carpenter fan, give that a little whirl, because it'll tickle your taste buds, I reckon.
Nice. And I do love to have my taste buds tickled now that I don't have.
Don't we all? Don't we all?
Don't we all?
Don't we all? Let's do another trumpet. What?
What? No, it's confused. What? It's weird. And it's sort of just like it was going to die, and he was like, and then you brought it back, and obviously I then sort of killed it. So.
And then you ruined it.
Yeah.
No, that's it. That's all you're getting. No, that's all you're getting.
I want my trumpets. Trumpet me.
It's Saturday morning comics.
Saturday morning comics with Nuge. Saturday morning. That's awful. I'm not even going to try and do that again. Anyway, yes, Saturday morning comics. And it's almost like we'd planned this entire episode out.
Ooh.
But we didn't. Because this comic has a very John Carpenter-esque vibe to it.
Oh, sweet.
I know, segue. So this is a 4-issue comic that I bought from Thought Bubble. And so this comic is called Our Final Halloween.
Ooh.
So the pitch. So what I'm going to do is actually read you the opening. It's like a double-page spread. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 panels. Right. So double-page spread is what the fuck just happened. I don't know where we are. Seriously, guys, I don't remember any of this shit. Is this blood? It tastes like blood. Shouldn't we be more worried about the sounds coming from the glowing death doodle on the floor? Fuck this shit. Fuck you guys, and whatever you guys got me into, I'm out.
Okay.
So basically, I actually picked this up on the stand, and I was talking to the creator. I was just flicking through, and I wasn't sure if I was going to buy it or anything like that. And I got to that last panel of the fuck this shit, fuck you guys, and whatever you guys are into, I'm out. And I just thought that would be me.
Yeah.
And I bought the comic on the spot, all 4 comics. And the pitch is it's set in 1984, and it's on Halloween. And the pitch he gave me, I've probably got it slightly wrong, is a bunch of kids wake up in a house covered in blood with no memory of how they got there. And then he gave me that pitch and then just stepped back and was like, "That's the pitch." And I was like, "I'm in, mate.
Yeah.
I'm in. Here's all the money. Give me the comics." And yeah, I blitzed through all 4. I'm actually going to read them again because I think there's actually a lot more to take away from like a repeat viewing. But this has a similar tone to the Black Phone, actually.
Oh, okay.
So I think you'd really enjoy this. Now,
yeah, it sounds like it might be in my wheelhouse.
Yeah. So the writer is Mike Garley. He's one of the co-creators. The artist, another co-creator, is Michael Lee Graham. Letters is by Mark Stock, and cover artist is Jess Taylor. I think the cover artist changes per issue. And talking to sort of Mike about it, and what he said to me was originally it was a one shot. So the first issue was that was it.
Mm-hmm.
So when you read the first issue, it feels quite self-contained in that kind of classic horror vibe because it sort of ends in a little bit of a cliffhanger. But he said he had so much fun doing it, they both did, that they decided to see if they could stretch it into a 4-issue series. And boy, am I glad they made that decision. It's just, as I said, it's really fun. What I've written down here is, imagine if John Carpenter decided to write a 4-part Scooby-Doo comic.
Okay.
That's my pitch, because there is a dog in it and the dog's badass. He doesn't talk though. The art is lovely and it's got some really kind of just the way they play with some of the panels and some of the art in this. And there's a whole thing because obviously things happen on Halloween, then it's about getting to the next Halloween, and it's the way they show the transition as they're waiting for the next Halloween. And there's even a bit where they've got, I think it's a couple of double-page spreads, but it's basically like a sort of day planner.
Yeah.
And it's just showing what their investigation and what they're up to. And it's really, really clever. And I cannot recommend it enough. And I think you would love it. And that's me out. Mic drop.
Nice.
And one of the kids only has one arm. Get in.
Okay. What a thread to carry through an episode.
John Carpenter. The John Carpenter episode.
Oh dear me. Well, that sounds really good. I need to get like more indie comics. I've gone off comics a bit, but mostly like superhero ones because there's just too many and they cross over too much and I just can't be bothered. But as such, because it's so difficult to get hold of indie stuff digitally, I've found anyway. I don't really read anything now other than Turtles.
Yeah. I think part of it is it's knowing what's out there, which is where I'm going to come in because I am going to be talking a lot more about, because it was something like over 400 or over 300 exhibitors at Thought Bubble. And I am going to be trying to spend the next kind of 12 months up until the next Thought Bubble, kind of, talking up what I saw there, some of the exhibitors and stuff like that. Because the one thing I realized going was there's so much out there now. The quality is off the scale, and there is literally something for everyone. There was stuff there that I thought I wouldn't have seen there 5 years ago, and definitely things like the Final Halloween. I think I called it the last Halloween, but it's actually called Our Final Halloween, so apologies. The minute I read it I thought Stace would like this. You could have actually expanded it out to, I think, 8 issues, because you could dive in with some of the characters a little bit more and stuff, but I get why they've done 4 issues. But I can't recommend it enough. And quickly, I'll just say, really quickly, because we've got 26 minutes, so we're doing well, that I am currently reading, wait for it, Santa Claus versus the Nazis. Boom.
Of course you are. Boom. Of course you are.
And and I bought this at Thought Bubble, it's by Ben Dickinson, and you know what? I saw it and I saw the cover and I thought, this is just going to be like some sort of parody piss take, and I'm just not in the headspace for it. But it is literally what it says on the tin, and it's done like a kind of adventure movie, and I'm in for days. I'm halfway through and I'm in for days.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I like that, bridging the gap between Halloween and Christmas by
bringing you all the holiday fun all wrapped up in 27 minutes. Boom.
I love it. I feel like we really rushed through stuff and I didn't realise that we were doing quite so well for time. Oh well.
I know. That's all right though, because it's good.
Short and sweet.
Yeah.
Good point.
As I was told, podcast
Tweet.
too long by someone.
Oh no. Oh.
Not ours.
Well, I was going to say not ours, because ours is only half an hour. That's not long enough.
No, but it was a more in general. I think it depends nowadays. I think it depends on your reasoning for podcasting.
I think it works the same way as films. If you've got enough to say and do and show in a podcast to make it last 2 hours and it's still fully entertaining, then yeah, you need 2 hours. If you haven't, cut that shit down, mate. Make it tighter.
To be honest, those days we could do 2 hours every time we recorded if you wanted to.
Yeah, we could. I could literally have talked about Same as It Never Was. I purposefully rushed through that because I knew if I started talking about the actual, because the whole episode is like literally darker than usual in terms of like the colouring and everything. Like they really thought about making this the grimmest fucking thing. But like could have talked about it for ages, but I thought no, whiz through it. Shut up, because otherwise you'll be on this for like 3 hours.
Well, I'll tell you what, because I'm going to watch it. So I think once I've watched it, we'll do a special record. It won't be like Stace and Brian in the morning. It will just be me and you having a chat about it.
Okay. I'm really intrigued to see. Like, I can't remember if that episode, because the other 3 have like a little thing at the start which sort of tells you how they get to where they are. So it like replays the same little sequence of like the Ultimate Draco showing up and wanging them through time. Yeah. And there's a brilliant bit. I loved the fact that this appeared in at least 3 of the episodes where Raph just shouts, "Revenge this whack bag" at the Ultimate Draco, and then like tries to like dive it in with his side. And I found that to be why is he calling him a whack bag? That's very funny to me. And it happens in 3 episodes because they keep replaying that scene. Really made me laugh. Anyway.
I'm glad we've established it's wang through time and it's wanging them through time and not wanking them through time, which is what I originally heard, but I didn't want to say anything.
Yeah, I'm very sorry. It was definitely wanging. Okay. Like a welly wanging, you know. That's a British thing. What British people do, isn't it, or something? Yeah. Don't know, throw a welly around. Anyway, that was season 4, episode insert number here of Stace Harry in the morning.
Insert number. Do you know what? If you're listening to it, insert your own number. You can be any number you want it to be. It could be season 4, episode 5082.5, and we'll be all good with that.
Yeah, I don't care. Do what you like. You're an adult, maybe. Yeah, hopefully. I've got children. Don't listen to it. Hey, if you want to get in touch with us, while Twitter's still a thing, you can tweet at Geek Syndicate and at Stacey's Parlour, but God knows how long that will last. So, I don't know, better start emailing staceandbarry@gmail.com instead.
Yeah. We'll see you on Mastodon or Masturbate, where the fuck it's called.
I can't figure it out. It makes me sound like a really old person. I'm only 37, but immediately it was like, what server do you want to go on? And I was like, I beg your pardon.
Yeah.
What? And just backed away from it slowly, like Homer Simpson into a hedge. That's the end. We love you. Bye.
The end.
The end.
Well, not of life as we know it. It's just the end of this podcast. So you're okay. You're still okay. The universe and the world is still there when you stop listening to this episode. Thank you for this public information that I've just given you. Goodbye.
Bye, everyone. Love you.
Bye, all.